wasn't really filming anything. And I decided I was going to make a video because something interesting on that. I'm just doing a coolant flush, but I'm also changing oil. And I'm going to use a treatment for the oil, since I've got to run the engine and get it up to temp to open up the thermostat anyways.
This stuff was a pain in the butt to get. We've been wanting to do this for, what, since August, September?
I don't know. This was all your baby.
Yeah. I want to do it on that one eventually. But tried to order it in July, and we just got it in December. So I think they're actually up and ordering all this stuff now. So if you're trying to get a hold of this ATS Chemical stuff, you can go to their site, which I'll put at the bottom down there somewhere. And you should be able to actually order it by now. But I guess they were upgrading the facility, building new tanks, or finding whatever it is, animal that is a part of that, and harvesting or something. I don't know. Took them a while, that's all I know. But we're not supported or sponsored by them or anything. Just wanted to try it since I saw it on a couple of YouTube videos.
I'll give you a show of what the oil looks like right now. That's, come on, sunlight. You can see it's used, but it's not bad. That's got about, almost 5,000 miles on it. Just a hair low.
Wipe it on the rag real quick. See? Yeah. There we go. That's a little better. It's like I'm sitting there looking on the screen. As you could see, I couldn't really see.
But yeah, it's not super black. It's not super dirty. So it'll tell us. I use high miles synthetic, some good oil. I'm using a different brand from what I normally use. No, actually I'm using the Castrol again. This time it's Castrol. I use a couple of them. High Performance 5W30 for this truck. Let's see, the other one's another one I've used, STP, synthetic, high miles. So there's a couple of those I use. Sometimes during the busy time of year, I'll use whatever cheap high mile synthetic I can get, because it's going to be changed again in 2 months.
And again, we're not sponsored by them or anybody. Nope. So
if you want to, you can sponsor us, but no, not sponsored by any of them. Let's see. But coolant, I've taken the cap off. It stinks. You can't smell through camera, but the coolant smells pretty horrid. It's needed change since last year, and I put it off. It's not horrible pH and not horrible, unsafe for freezing level, but it's at the point it needs change, or it's going to be. So
yeah, it's a good thing y'all don't have smell-o-vision. Yeah, I walked to the other side of the truck for a reason.
Yeah, it stinks. It stunk last year, and it really stinks this year. It still tests okay, but it needs changed. I don't know if there's probably a plug point somewhere. I'm just going to change it the way I know to change it, which is I'm going to pull the main feed line on the bottom and drain it. Try to drain it into a bucket. So, yeah. And spring clamp, I'll kind of show you what's under there. And then oil change. You pull the plug, pull the filter. Engine oil is going to be hot, so that's going to be fun. I might let it cool a minute or two after that. But oil change, there's not much to show.
Yeah, I will
show a trick I use, though, for old oil plugs when the gaskets don't do the trick anymore. They get them to stop leaking. I will show that.
Okay. But, yeah.
Wires.
We're going to show the before. You saw the before, and we will get to the after on that pour-in oil treatment. And, we'll do the during, too. I don't know what I mean by that yet, but future me who is going to edit this will know what I mean by the during.
It's the ooga booga before the booga kuga.
Whatever that means.
And how I'm removing the spring clamp. I'll kind of lay down here and show you what's going on down here. Although I'll show you the two things I'm ignoring too.
We don't know what you're talking about. Right now, we really don't know what you're talking about. Here, need camera?
As soon as I find where I am.
Well, you're in your garage. You're on your garage floor.
There it is. It's on that side, so I'm going to have to do that through the fender well, so just hand that to me and I'll move this. All right. There you can see my hand. My nice blue gloves. I'm actually wearing gloves for a change. But you can see right there's the line. And we're going to ignore that the mount's half rusted out. It's still holding the radiator. It's still there enough that it's not moving. It's fine. We'll ignore that. And we'll also ignore the cracks in the rubber on the AC line there. It's not leaking yet. There's not much I can do. So the radiator lines look good, other than the dirty. I think the last time this thing had coolant changed, they put new lines on, because the lines don't look that old. So they're probably only a couple years old. But they still flex good, and they don't have any cracks. They're getting soft and pliable. There we go. It's supposed to lock, but it never locks. These stupid things.
I'm expecting to get coolant flowing, and I'm getting commentary.
Oh, the stupid spring clamp. Get the pliers to hold. And I made the mistake of it's got a lock on it. And I heard the lock click, so I tried to let it go so I could pull it back without holding the pliers. And it let go, of course. Proper method is you probably remove this shield. If I remove the shield, those pop tabs will probably never go back.
Looks like you've been trying to remove it with trees or small children or something.
Only small bushes.
I swear, is there something with this truck you haven't hit yet?
Well, I haven't hit any Amish yet, not officially. Oh man, that stinks.
Yeah.
No rust though.
That's a good thing.
Unlike the front brakes I've wet a little while ago. Nice and chunky. The lines aren't leaking though, so hopefully that'll take care of that. They're just kind of hanging up a little bit, so.
Yeah.
Got clean fluid run through now.
See there, we're cleaning it up. And nothing is getting into the wildlife. Don't worry. Although my garage bay is going to smell like whatever that is for the rest of my life.
Burnt coolant.
It smells like urine to me. I'm sorry.
A little bit. Yeah, hell, it could be urine. I don't know. Judging from the interior of this truck, it might be.
Yeah.
Hey, it's kind of antifreeze. But it's not crusty. Really?
Really. You might want to slide that bucket towards me.
That's the coolant I added. I can tell, it looks better. When I first bought the truck 2 years ago, the coolant was a little low, so I added a little bit.
I thought you meant just now. It's like, I didn't recall you was putting coolant in there yet.
Nope.
And I don't think you would put coolant in it while it's draining. That's a me thing, not a you thing.
Yeah,
I would be dumb enough to do that.
Only time you do that, there's a way you do that to flush it, but I'm not flushing it. It didn't have anything in it needing flushed, it just the coolant was old and nasty.
Oh, man. Touching that paper towel and helping him for a second. This hand smells like I've been cleaning an animal cage. That coolant is so nasty. An incontinent animal. Well,
from what I can tell, there's no use-by date on these. I have nice stuff that was in the garage when I bought the house. It's not been opened. It's an unopened bottle of coolant. And I think I may use a bottle of it as opposed the full bottle of it I have, as opposed to just using the store brand stuff I bought.
What is your best guess on how old this is?
Let's see. Now with advanced core guard inhibitors for enhanced corrosion protection. When did they start really advertising that?
I have no idea. Which president would that be purchased under? Bush, Clinton, Reagan, Jimmy Carter?
Comes close to a code that might be a year is 97.
Okay. So, Clinton. Let's see if a 25.
See what it looks like.
Let's see if a 25-year-old bottle of coolant is going.
Is concentrate. Let's see what it looks like.
Yes.
It looks like coolant. Smells like coolant.
Hmm.
Well, it's been unopened. It's been sealed the entire time. So, all right, let's concentrate. I got a bucket.
And we have distilled water in here somewhere.
I forgot to bring that out. I got a jug in the fridge, but I got a jug in the porch, and I was going to use it. So.
Okay, so we're off to get distilled water.
All right, nice clean shot of name brand coolant. Not a sponsor. Although I'm impressed, this stuff actually looks nicer than the cheap stuff I bought.
Yeah.
Usual. Pour half the bottle in, then I'll pour water in.
We'll get a half a bottle in there, and then we'll go get frickin'
Water.
yeah, distilled water. Of course, not using hose water, distilled water.
This is concentrate. I do. You can do just 50-50. I don't live terribly far north, but I live far enough north that I do a little higher concentration than 50-50. I try to get it good to -60, just in case.
So yeah.
Live close enough to Canada. I want it ready if I have to go to Canada.
Great value.
Yeah, this thing's been sitting on a shelf in the garage or on the porch for several years. So I figured I better use it before the sun rots it out.
It becomes more plastic than water.
Would that make it a leak plug?
Probably not, no.
I don't like sealed systems. I don't like working on sealed systems. Because you're guessing off this stupid tank and it ain't right.
My opinion is just give them a radiator cap. I don't understand the point of a sealed radiator.
Yeah. It is one less point of failure, but it's also makes maintenance harder.
This is not a race car.
Well, most people don't maintain their own cars, so...
How expensive is a radiator cap? Seriously.
I think that's a lot of it. Most people don't maintain their own cars anymore.
Well, I would rather not get into that discussion, but all I will say is that there's a bigger push to get people away from independent repair work and independent repair facilities, i.e. doing it yourself, going to your own repair guy, to going to a corporate approved one that's going to basically sell you a new product. But I'm not exactly Louis Rossman, so it's like I don't have all the details on that.
Get stuff out of this jug. I'll put the waste in this jug. I'll probably take, I doubt this is just a 2-gallon system, so it's already full short of 2 gallons, so it's probably going to take a good bit more.
Well, once you start it running, it's going to start pulling everything through.
Yeah.
And since it was sealed, it's got to burp through the overflow tank.
You always have to get the thermostat to open up to get the level right. But with this one, you've got to get it to burp back through lines, and yeah, that's going to be fun. I'm going to be taking 50/50 with me. I've got a bottle.
In other words, yeah, we're going to be running this thing a while.
So I figured I might as well do the oil thingy.
Yeah, that's coming up soon.
Grab the right one. And now I'm going to do the oil treatment in there while I'm running it to open thermostat up.
Yep, box is $74, I think it was, for both of them.
It is child-proof. Some adult-proof.
I was about to say, it's almost Karl-proof. But I've seen a lot of... Good Lord, that looks like water.
Yeah, it's a detergent, so it's added to the oil system.
Yeah.
But it's just a detergent.
It's not water. It looks like water. Do not drink. Of course, do I really have to tell you all that?
Probably. Nothing we've worked with today, other than distilled water, is drinkable.
Do we really have to tell people that?
Probably.
I don't think we have to. I don't think our audience is that dumb.
I hope not.
I think we got a more intelligent audience than that.
We'll still do it for disclaimer's sake.
Please don't sue us. We told you this is not a beverage. And if you do sue us, I'm just going to point you to that thing where I said it's not a beverage.
All right. Make sure there's nothing anywhere that's going to be a problem. Move these pliers and fire up.
That's, yeah.
And it is 347, so.
Yep. It says to run it at high idle.
Maybe. This thing doesn't have an RPM gauge, so.
Sounds like high idle to me. And we'll see what happens.
All right, there was another bottle with the same code on it that was open that I didn't use because I think it's been diluted down and it smells like tap water and solvent. So that's going in the garbage.
By garbage, he means disposed of in the proper facilities, by the way. This is towards the end of the cycle. We got about 3 more minutes left, give or take. And this is what the engine sounds like right now. Yeah, ignore the exhaust leak. That has nothing to do with the oil.
Okay, we did the little more than 10 minutes because trying to get thermostat open. It opened. I forgot I had the heat on. The truck was nice and hot, so it's functioning. I burped the heating system, but let's see. Well, the oil doesn't look much different from what it did before. A little thinner. So. Yeah, a little thinner. I can smell the solvent in it.
Maybe all the stuff went to the bottom?
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see when we drain it.
Hopefully it pulled everything out.
Yeah.
200,000 mile engine with no talent. Someone may have done this previously with it. Probably not, but never know.
Yep. So now for oil drain.
Oil drain, yep. You can see that. It's got a nice red tint to it. That's hot, but I'm burying it. That's got ow, that's getting really hot. So, but kind of see it on the blue there. It's got an interesting redness to it. A lot more red than normal, so maybe that's the carbon pulled off. Has a solvent smell too from the solvent.
Now, the true test will come when we drive it around later on.
But this engine has 100 and almost 197,000 miles on it, so 196 something. Oh, and I'll get up and show the trick I have on this because it's useful and it's just plumber's tape. Alright, trick I've learned on these oil plugs, when you get where the gaskets aren't sealing good anymore, that white on there is plumber's Teflon tape. Just coat it, wrap it round real good, opposite direction from when it threads so it doesn't unthread when you're tightening it, and build it up on the bottom, and it will crush and reseal and stop it from leaking. It works better than the aftermarket gaskets on a lot of these because I've had very little luck with those little hard plastic gaskets they give you. This works better. You just want to be careful that you don't get it so far up here that it'll get into the oil pan. You don't want to get it sucked into the system. You just keep it on these last few teeth where it's supposed to seal. And I said, build it up good and strong on those last few teeth and it'll push a seal in there.
So,
and every 4 or 5 oil changes, you'll have to change it depending on the one. Some of them you have to do every time. This one, I probably won't need to do it for a while because it did a good job. Oh, and 15 millimeter. This is a 15 millimeter. While the brake plugs, the brake bleeds were 3/8. So this is one of those fun go back and forth, metric to standard.
So after, I don't know how many weeks and months, you got a random advice time.
Yeah. Useful one. And oh, I'll show you what I just realized. Some of you probably don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they know what Teflon.
It's this stuff you get in the plumbing section.
Yeah, that you said plumber's tape. I know that. I think they can identify plumber's tape.
It's just that stuff.
Yep, and that stuff right there.
You reverse thread it so it doesn't unthread while you're tightening it, and it makes a good seal. And like I said, it'll last a couple times normally, unless you have a Jeep. Then you have to do it every time. Old Jeep. Just because. Another random advice. Write the mileage at which you change your filter on the filter. That way, if you lose your documentation and when you did your oil change, you can always look at the filter and find out. And green on blue doesn't show up real well, but red on blue works pretty good. If you're normal, you'll have a black Sharpie.
Yes.
I've never been accused of being normal.
No.
And filter pliers. This filter is in a bad spot to get to here in the front, but it tends to weld itself on there regardless of how careful you are with it.
I always just use a filter plier anyways.
And every time I change the oil in this truck, the filter is a different size. They all look different.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah. I've had 3 different size filters. They're all for this truck though.
That's weird.
Alright, so you didn't have to get down. The oil coming out of the filter is pretty black. So it did pull a good bit out.
And looks like the oil filter did its job then.
And then now it's starting to get to more red stuff. But yeah, it caught a bunch of black crud. And the biggest complaint I have on this truck is every time I get it, the filter's a different shape. They all apparently are the right filter. But yeah. And this one doesn't have the mileage on it because I didn't have a Sharpie.
I mean, we couldn't tell that until you pointed it out.
I know. I know why it doesn't. I didn't have a Sharpie on it.
Okay.
This time I finally had a Sharpie. And so I had a filter that was a color that was hard to write on.
That makes sense for you. Makes sense for nobody else, but it makes sense for you.
All right, and I'm not going to use this oil for the seal on this filter, on the new filter, because it had that solvent in it. Okay, and I'm trying a new the thin oil stabilizer. The best way to put it for modern Eagle for Lucas. I saw this and it's like, you know, I'm going to try it. This thing uses a little bit of oil, and during the summer I change oil so often it's not such a big deal. But during the winter, it'll be summer again before I change oil. Well, it'll be late spring probably, but still, it's going to be 6 months. So I'll try it and see how it does in this one. And if it does good, then I'll add it to some of my other vehicles that don't get oil changes as much, which of the ones that run currently, that's only the Buick. All right. And I know you told me to quit using that, but it's just what I start.
I didn't say nothing yet.
Only thing left for me to do on this treatment is add the fuel treatment, which I'll do. I'll dump it in there and then fill it up. And oil treatment's done, flushed it. I put that Lucas in there so that it would have cold start protection, because I don't run this vehicle a whole lot in the winter. At least not near as much as I don't do during the summer. And only thing left to do now is I'm going to continue trying to burp it. I did pull this hose and make sure it filled up, and it was full of clean fluid, new fluid, so it circulated right. So I guess it burped. It just didn't take a whole lot of fluid when it burped, which is I'm not used to. It concerns me because that's not what I'm used to. So on these type systems, so we'll see. I've got to run it and get the oil circulated again. So, but there's nothing really else to film.
Start it up and let's hear the difference with the fresh oil, if you don't mind.
Sure, I can start it up. I don't know if it may sound any different or not.
And that's what it sounds like with the fresh oil.
I still got to change air filter.
Yep. Alrighty. He's going to change the air filter. Anyways, thank y'all for hanging out. And if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And Karl?
Yep. This time it's no, you really should change air filter while it's running.
He says he knows you shouldn't change an air filter while it's running, but y'all have a good one.
So long.